Bill Geist has always had a way with words. The former columnist and best-selling author is a longtime correspondent for CBS Sunday Morning. Yay! So it may come as a surprise that he just never seemed to get around to talking about some of life's most important issues with his son. That would be Willie Geists of NBC, who's now like, well, how old are you, Willie?
39.
39.
Yeah, I just had my first talk with him about the dangers of alcohol.
Here we go. Their new book is called Good Talk, Dad, the Birds and the Bees and Other Conversations we just forgot to have. Welcome, Geist.
Good morning, guys.
To the table.
This is like family
We
right
are
here.
so glad you're
Gail,
here.
Charlie, and Nora. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
We're pleased to have you at the table.
We really are. You know, no
If
parent.
you bring your old man.
That's right.
I just slip in with him.
You don't make donuts, right?
You're right. You know, no parent really likes to have the talk with their children.
No.
But you guys came very close to it, so set the scene. The Yankees are on TV, Bill.
Well, Willie and I watched. I think we got a lot of our relationship just kind of osmosis, you know, I mean, rather than having a big talk. But I did realize that parents are supposed to have the big talk about the birds and the bees. So during pitching change or something in the game, and I said, Willie, do you think we should have our talk about sex now? Willie said, do we have any pretzels?
Just change the subject immediately. And that was the last time we ever talked about sex. I think I was probably 13, 14 years
I
old.
never knew what to say. Is there an audio-visual component to it? I don't know.
You know, one of the things I think we realized writing this book is, just anecdotally, there aren't a lot of people who actually sit down and have that talk.
That's
we
right.
think they do, because you see it in movies, you see it on TV shows, you read about it in books, but are there a lot of dads out there who are sitting down with their teenage son and getting into the nitty-gritty?
No.
But do fathers and sons talk about much other than sports?
That's a great question. And I
We
think the
did
answer is no.
Not until he had my grandchildren. Then we talk about them in sports.
Sports are kind of a safe place, though.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, there's no politics, there's no family strife. You can talk about whether the team stinks or the team's doing
And it's
well.
winning and losing.
Yeah,
and
exactly. It's an
way to
easy
keep
place to
score.
go. Exactly.
But I think we did get something even through that, just kind of sitting there and making little kibitzing about the game and making funny comments and making fun of the players and stuff.
But I want people to know how hilarious this book is, Nora.
It's so funny. And the impetus for writing this book, I think, is important, too, Bill, because we know you from Sunday Morning and love your pieces, and you've talked a lot about your family, your pieces. But when you announced 2 years ago on Sunday Morning that you had Parkinson's, Willie, you said that was one of your proudest moments as a son. Why?
Yeah, it absolutely was, because I knew how hard it was for my dad. I think he'd had it for 10 years before he even told me or my sister about it. So he wasn't even comfortable telling his own family. I don't want to speak for him, but he didn't want to feel pity. He didn't want us to worry about him. And so when he went on TV and told 6 million viewers, as he points out that CBS Sunday Morning has every Sunday.
He sometimes says 5 million. And
I try to undercut him a little bit.
Yes.
But when he went out and told the world, I just knew watching at home in a living room how difficult that was for him. And so I was just incredibly proud, because now he's out there and he's helping other people with Parkinson's.
But that's kind of the theme of the book. I mean, that all these conversations here, your father had that, didn't tell you for 10 years he had Parkinson's. These are all the conversations you didn't have. And it's really funny. It's a really funny book.
For instance, there's a lot of stories about Don't Tell Mom. There's a very cute picture of you getting into a Volkswagen at the age of 4.
Yeah.
Bill is driving.
Yes,
Well,
he's standing on the passenger seat.
It was a different time. It was the 70s. This is before the sort of the car seat era. And I would stand on the front seat of our family car when I was 2 or 3 years old, shotgun. And every once in a while, my dad would hit the brakes a little hard, and he'd just tap that windshield ever so slightly. And I still have a little scar right there. And I think my mom heard that story for the first time when she was sort of copy editing our book. She said, what? He was
Bill,
standing on the seat?
Even your movie choices, you were showing young Willie Blazing Saddles.
Yes, his mother got him into summer stock theater and Annie. Were you Annie?
No, but you know what I was playing too many sports, and my mom said we have to go the other way a little bit, so she put me into summer stock, which I really liked and enjoyed. But I was the only boy in the all-girl orphanage under Miss Hannigan. I was the one dude sitting there.
It could work out well.
But yeah, in terms of movies, Blazing Saddles he gave me the VHS tape when I was like 10.
My cultural contribution to him.
Totally inappropriate, but he said that's funny.
Here's the impression I get. Even though you didn't talk about the birds and bees, this guy gave you a lot in terms of what?
No question. In terms of example. So I think this is the way a lot of parents probably are. You don't sit down and always articulate what kind of person you want your child to be, but you lead a life that they can follow. And he's done that personally. He's done it professionally. You know, a lot of people ask me, did you get into TV because of your dad? Not really. We never sat down and talked about it. In fact,
I advised him not to get into television. I said, go down to Wall Street and get an internship.
yeah, he actually did say that, but I watched the fun he had, the places he went, the people he met, and I knew it was going to be a good life. And I watched how much he enjoyed it, what a great writer he was, and those are the things that inspired me.
But you point out your academic skills would not allow you to be a tax lawyer. I doubt that.
No,
or a
that's a
surgeon.
good point, no.
But one of the most poignant things was, I call it the Beige email that you wrote to Willie back in the day. When you do things in your own distinctive, colorful way, there will be fans, there will be detractors who just don't get it. Your challenge is to charm them into thinking what's good for you is good for them all, and of course to move on when those efforts fail. I got a lump reading that, Willie.
Yeah, you know, that came at a time when I was early days at NBC, where Nora and I worked together, and I was frustrated, and we've all had bosses who don't see things the way we want them to see them, or
so
give you the...
stupid they don't understand our genius.
Yeah, maybe that's
I
what
like
I was
that
looking
too,
for.
yes.
You see the difference here, the diplomacy and the honesty.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
But that's the way my dad's always been, these short bursts of wisdom. And I thought that email was a perfect illustration. It inspired me to keep pushing. Don't worry about one person in your way. Keep fighting. And I did, probably because of what he told me.
Yeah.
I worried that he would wind up doing a morning traffic report on Good Morning Cedar Rapids.
Not a lot of traffic in Cedar Rapids.
No, that's
Kind of
a good
gig.
it's just a good
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
You stand
And your
on a
dad's so honest
three-story
too.
building.
When you had your own daughter, he looked at little Lucy and says, "Yeah, but she looks like."
Khrushchev.
Yes. I blocked
That's what
that
you
out.
wanna hear.
I blocked that out.
My beautiful
It was
little
laugh
girl,
out loud funny.
she was chubby and she didn't have a lot of hair. And I said, Dad, isn't she the sweetest thing? And he looked at her and said, she looks a lot like Khrushchev. He says that about his sweet
That was
granddaughter.
honest. It was honest.
A little too.
A little too honest. Yeah, the diplomacy is, Willie was a funny kid and a tall one. And he'd be in class making jokes, and he managed to finesse, be a little more subtle than I was, and so he'd stay in the class. I would be out in the hall or at detention after school because I would carry it a little too far.
Yeah, but you've taken pride. Willie beat up the team mascot. You were like, yeah, that's my son. But the great thing about this book, Willie, is that you said it allowed you
Throw
all
that out there.
to review your life. There's details.
Yeah.
The book allowed you all to review your life together, and I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
is so poignant and so touching.
Yeah, it turned out well.
It
I mean,
did.
I'm happy with the bottom line.
Yeah, it's a great gift to have all these
Yes.
stories in one place, and I can hand it to my son or my
a
daughter or my
treasure.
grandkids and say, this is who your grandfather was, this is who I am. And I don't think a lot of people get that gift, so that's what I'll take from the book.
Right before Father's Day, too.
Yeah.
Bill and Willie
We never
Geist.
never occurred to us.
I know. I just thought I would point that out because I'm sure you hadn't thought of that yet. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good
you.
Talk
Thank you.
Dad goes on sale today.